What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. America's game is happening today. I meant to get this video out sooner. I've been busy with finals and papers and everything like that, so I apologize for not getting this video out sooner, but I'm getting it out right now. It's America's game. It is Army versus Navy this year, going to be from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, the home of the New England Patriots. And boy, this game has delivered. It has been a phenomenal game to watch over the past couple of seasons. And this season, well, it's supposed to be another fantastic game. I'll be here to break it all down. We got the Black Knights. We got the Midshipmen. It's Army versus Navy. Boy, this is going to be a great game. But before we dive on in to this preview prediction, hey, thank you guys for all the support the channel saw throughout this college football season. Let's continue that support in the bowl season. You can hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. Watching these videos is a huge way to help support me. But guys, pretty much everything you do to interact with the channel helps to support what I do here. So whether that's liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, whatever. Whatever you do to interact with the channel helps to support it, and whatever you do to support it means a lot to me. So continue to support the channel in any ways that you guys are willing and or able to do. Again, I appreciate it a lot. But let's dive on into this preview and prediction. Army versus Navy. Dive on into the stats that both these teams have put up so far here this season. We will start with the designated road team, which will be the Army Black Knights. And by the way, both of the jerseys that these two teams are wearing for this game, glorious. If you haven't seen them, I highly suggest you go check them out. They are phenomenal jerseys. They are phenomenal looking jerseys. You need to go check those out. But let's dive on into the stats both these teams have put up, and we're going to start talking about both of these teams' offense. So we're going to go offense, offense, defense, defense. That's how we're going to structure this video. I mean, when you take a look at the Army Black Knights and Navy Midshipmen, of course, we know the Armed Forces academies love to run the triple option. They love to run the ball, and as shown by the stat line here, 208 rush yards per game for Army, meanwhile 200 rush yards per game for the Navy Midshipmen. Now, there are a couple things with these two offenses that I do need to mention, because both of them have over 1,000 passing yards on the season. Now, Army averages a little over 100 pass yards per game, while Navy is very close to that mark. They are at 99 yards per game through the air. Both of these offenses throughout courses of the season have tried to incorporate the different dynamics within their passing game. Both of these offenses have to what people are going to try to call adjusting to the times and trying to throw the ball downfield and trying to get the ball to some really dynamic playmakers in the wide receiver group. And while sometimes it's worked out for them, other times it really hasn't. So let's look at the Army Black Knights first. They have had more success with throwing the football than Navy. However, Army, while they were throwing the football, did go on this weird 5-game losing streak, and then Army beat a couple really good teams there down the stretch to sort of rebound back this season. Both these teams currently sitting at 5-6. You'll see that here later. But for the Army Black Knights throwing the ball, they saw some success here, and their leading passer on the season is Bryson Daly, 859 yards, 6 touchdowns. But here's where the kicker comes in for Army. It's the interceptions. Their second leading passer in Champ Harris, 260 yards. Both those guys are at anywhere between 50 to 55% completion, but Daly has the 6 touchdowns. That's it. Those are the only touchdowns that Army has thrown through the air this year. Just those 6 interceptions to Daly, 4 interceptions to Harris, and then 1 interception down there to a backup quarterback in Larry Robinson. So turnovers have been a problem here for this team. I believe they have, yep, it says it right there. I don't have to believe I see it. They have 22 turnovers on the year. That's been a problem for this Army offense, specifically through the air. Now, do ball carriers fumble the ball? I mean, yeah, but that's also going to come with the amount of times that Army runs the football. And speaking of running the football, let's look at some guys that are leaders in that category. Bryson Daly, their leading passer, their quarterback, well, 817 yards, 7 touchdowns for him on the season. But if you want some skill position players, Kanye Udo, Hayden Reed, Tyrell Robinson, Juan Marshall, sorry, my apologies, and then also Jacoby Buchanan there as well. You could list off several other names that love to run the football for Army there, but all those guys. Oh, and one more, forgot 100-yard performer there is Tyson Riley. So all, I believe I listed 6 or 7 guys there are over 100 yards rushing for them, and all of them have at least one rushing touchdown on the season for Army. Let's move over to the side of the Navy Midshipmen. Again, they've tried to incorporate the passing game as well, and they've done it maybe not to the extent that Army has with the way that they can be explosive, but they have done it with their efficiency. They have 9 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions on the year, 11 minus 4, that's 7, so only 7 fumbles. Turnovers not as big of a problem for the Midshipmen here as they have been for the Army Black Knights offense. We know that Navy loves to run the ball, but passing the ball, Ty Lavatai is that quarterback, 522 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. You have 4 other players that have thrown the ball here for Navy, and all of them have at least one, or I should say 4 total players, but 3 others, excluding Ty Lavatai, that have thrown passes, including Xavier Arline, who has 2 touchdowns, 1 interception on the season. When you take a look at some skill position players that are running the football here for the Navy, the Midshipmen, well, it starts out with that fullback in Alex Texa. He is an absolutely phenomenal player, 724 yards, 5 touchdowns on the season, leads Navy in both of those categories. Fofana, Arline, Heidenreich, Horvath, Woodson, Lavatai, and Chapman are all 100-yard performers this season for the Navy Midshipmen offensively. Now, the one thing that Army definitely does have advantages in offensively is they do throw the football a little bit more effectively in terms of yardage, but maybe Navy does a little bit more effectively in terms of how they get their points and how they generate moving the ball down the field, right? But Army has the advantage in third downs, and they have the advantage in the offensive line as well. But the disadvantage in turnovers could be huge. We'll take a very quick look at both of these defenses. I talked about their offenses forever. Defensively, when you compare these two teams, both of them can generate pressure. Both of them can generate turnovers. Navy is definitely better on third downs, but in terms of stopping teams and moving down the field, Army, little bit better at that, I would say overall, even though the yard markage is going to be a little bit higher than Navy. I do give the slight defensive advantage to the Army Black Knights. However, physicality is always key in Army-Navy. Navy is the team that is much better at stopping the run than the Army Black Knights. However, Navy, given the fact that Army maybe can pass the ball a little bit better than what Navy can, that Navy secondary is definitely going to be a weakness for this team as well. So you can take a look at offensive, defensive stats. We're going to move in to my what to watch for. They're kind of like your keys to the game, whatever you want to call them. They're just 3 things for each team, maybe some general keys that I think you should keep an eye on while you're paying attention to this one. So let's go ahead and start out with the Army Black Knights. Again, this is an Army team that really tried to adjust to the times. They got a new offensive coordinator this year, and they really tried to throw the ball much more than they have in the previous couple of seasons. But Army, as of late, because they've gotten hot with it, they've opted for the option. And because they've had all those turnovers throwing the football, they've really opted to more of an option style play. However, they can still throw the ball. This is a team with Daly at quarterback that can still sling it, and especially with this Navy secondary being a weakness, I would definitely expect Army to throw the ball at least 10 times in this game to try to beat Navy deep in the secondary. Navy has proven it can stop the run, and we'll talk more about this later. Army can still sling it, though. This is the team that absolutely can pass the ball. However, this defensive front is going to have to step it up. The secondary probably doesn't have much to worry about. Yes, Navy still has the ability to pass the ball as well, so you have to watch out for that, and Navy does it pretty effectively, and they don't turn the football over when they throw. In fact, looking at Navy's stat line here, 1,089 yards, 50.6 completion percentage, 6.4 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 4 picks passing the football for the Navy Midshipmen so far this season, and the long, a 69-yard touchdown thrown by Woodson. So this is a Knights defense that, look, the defensive front is going to have to step up. Navy, again, this is Army-Navy. No matter what I am talking about here with the ability of Army and Navy to be able to throw more so this year than they have in previous years, this is still Army-Navy. It's still going to be one with physicality. It's still going to be one at the line of scrimmage, and the Black Knights defensive front is going to have to step up going to have to play really well to defend whatever Navy can throw them running the football. But the biggest key for Army in terms of the special teams or any of the little odds and ends here to this football game is keep the turnovers limited. 11 interceptions, 11 fumbles on the year for Army. That just can't happen. And I know Navy is not the best third down team, but if you are going to turn the football over against Navy, they are going to capitalize eventually. You have to keep the turnovers limited. You have to keep this Navy defense on the field, keep them tired, rest your defense in order for that physicality to really take over there for the Army Black Knights. What about some keys for the Navy Midshipmen? Well, you got to be able to keep the momentum offensively, whether that's running the ball, whether that's passing the ball, keep the momentum offensively. And whether that's, Army, given the way the season has gone, they're averaging 2 turnovers per game. Maybe Army goes and turns the football over on a couple of possessions here in this game. Run out as much clock as you can. Clock control and physicality. That is what is going to dictate this game here against Army and Navy. You got to keep the momentum offensively. If you are the Navy Midshipmen, let Ty Lavatai go to work, be able to work this offense. He's a really good game manager when he's been healthy. When he's been healthy so far this season. The momentum of this game will heavily dictate who comes out on top. I've alluded to it many a times, but Navy, yeah, this is a team that can stop the run, but can they stop the pass? They're allowing 240 passing yards per game, and if you want to go based off of pure passing talent, I do believe that Army has that category 1 over the Navy Midshipmen, and it's definitely something with Navy secondary being the weakness of this defense that Army is going to look to exploit. So watch out for that. But third downs are also going to be crucial. Navy, one of the worst teams in the country on third downs offensively. However, they're one of the better teams defensively in allowing third down conversion rates. Army is around mid there in both categories in the country. However, this is a Black Knights team that doesn't necessarily have the best third down defense. However, they can come up with crucial stops at times. So I'm very excited to finally be predicting this game here. Army and Navy usually is a very, very good one, and both teams have kind of had their ups and downs this year. However, Navy is a much better team than what they have shown in years past. Brian Newberry has done an absolutely phenomenal job here with this team so far, but I think they come up just short against Army. I do believe that Army is going to do everything that they need to do to be able to win this game. And look, this battle is going to be won in the trenches. That is what Army-Navy is. And even though Navy has the better run defense, I feel like Army's going to be able to make Navy pay, maybe have a couple big plays through the air there that's really going to seal this one. But again, who wins the battle in the trenches? I do believe that is going to be Army. I believe that at its top tier, both these teams are going to be playing their best football. I believe Army is going to be the more physical team here. I believe they are going to limit their turnovers. They're going to do everything they need to do. They're going to wear this Navy defense out, and I don't think this Navy offense is going to convert enough third downs to be able to help them win this game. Now again, it's Army-Navy and anything can happen, but I am going with Army here. 16-13, very low scoring, physical, grinded out type game, but I do have the Black Knights coming out on top over the Navy Midshipmen. So that's going to do it here for this video. Let me know how you guys see this game playing out in the comment section down below. Next week, we'll go ahead and start diving into bowl game content. We'll get everything prepped and ready for that. So until then, remember to play hard but tailgate harder, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.